här är Say it in Swedish. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Say it in Swedish. I'm your host, JOAKIM, and I had plans for this video. I went out to shoot some B-roll, and then I thought I was going to record this video outside in different locations, but it got so freaking cold, so I just shot the B-roll and then I went straight home to get some tea. And now I'm just shooting this video on my couch. At least it's something else than what you are used to seeing. And today we are going to talk about 3 verbs that can all be translated into think. And it's pretty common for people to just translate think into one of these 3 words without knowing the difference or even thinking about the difference. So that's why today we are going to learn what the difference is, and luckily we can basically use synonyms to think for the proper translations of these 3 verbs. So here we go. First up, we have the word tänka, which means to think. And in this case, we are thinking about something. We don't have an opinion. We are not believing anything. We are just, using our mind to think about things. And in this case, we use the word tänka. In Swedish, we also have one confusing translation or use of this verb, and we use it to express future. So it means it doesn't mean in this case that you are thinking about doing something. It means that you are going to do something. So we can say jag tänker jobba imorgon. I'm going to work tomorrow. So in this case, it doesn't mean to think or to think about doing something. Now, in this case, so this is an exception, but in the other cases, you use tänka when you are doing that thing with your mind. Next up is tro, which is also very often translated into think. For instance, yeah, I think that's the case. So in this case, you are believing that that's the case. It's something that you think you might know. There is a certain degree of uncertainty here. You are believing something to be true. Yeah, I think that's true. But a bunch of people, I think maybe 99% of all people learning Swedish, they use this wrong. They just take the first translation that comes to mind, tänka. And very often you will hear people saying something like jag tänker det, which, I mean, they are trying to say I think so, but instead they are saying something like I'm going to, which is, that's not what they want to say, and they use the verb tänka wrong here. They want to say jag tror det, I believe so. Do you get the difference? And lastly, we have the verb tycka, which is a word you use when you express an opinion. Like, I don't think that's a good idea. You don't tänker that's a good idea, and I mean, you could believe that's not a good idea, so you could technically use jag tror inte att det är någon bra idé. You know, you could, but you want to express an opinion here, not a belief. So you use the verb tycka. Jag tycker inte att det är en bra idé. So it's more like saying, my opinion is that you shouldn't do that. That's not a good idea. That's my opinion. So to wrap this up, we have tänka. That's something you do with your mind. You are thinking with your mind. Then we have tro. That's something you do, for instance, in a church. Or it's something you believe that something might be true. For instance, du tror det. You think so. And then we have tycka, which means that you have an opinion. You are thinking that something shouldn't or should be done. It's an opinion that you have. It's not a belief. It's not something you do with your mind. It's a belief that you have. It's not a belief that you have. It's an opinion. So we have something you do with your mind, a belief, and an opinion. Alright guys, as I'm editing this video, I kind of realized that there are a few exceptions that I should mention, because I mean, it would be quite confusing if I'm telling you something and then you realize that that's not the case in some case, and you will get confused, and then you will write angry emails, and maybe you will send me something angry in the mail, and we don't want that, do we? So the word tänka could also include to believe or to have an opinion in certain expressions. So for instance, we have the expression vad tänker du om something something? What are your thoughts on something? And in this case we use tänka or tänker, which means to think, in the context of to have an opinion about something, which I just told you we don't do that. But in this case, in this particular expression, we do. So keep that in mind. So tänka om something basically means to have a thought about something. Then we have the expression jag tänkte väl det. I thought so. And in this case, tänka is kind of used as a translation for to believe something. Well, I thought that would happen. I believed so. I know I said earlier that I think so is not translated with the word tänka, but I thought so is in this particular context or with this expression. So jag tänkte väl det. You have to say tänkte väl. Väl is a filler word. I think we should have I should make a video about that, but that's another story. Jag tänkte väl det. I thought so. And most likely in a colloquial situation you would most likely hear tänkte väl or jag tänkte väl. Alright guys, I really hope that you are getting the gist, getting the difference of these three words. All can be translated into to think in English, but they have different uses. Alright. If you want to learn more Swedish, you can do that on sayitinswedish.com, where I've got free audio lessons and vocabulary lists. And if you want to be a part of this community, you can go to our Discord server. Link is in the description, along with all the social media and all that jazz. And we will see each other in another video. Okay, take care. Hej då!